Thank you for staying with us for today's Business Matters. As always, we have Don Ma here with us. Don, how's it going?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing great. Can't complain. Tell us what's going on today.
Okay, let me start off with CVS, actually. So CVS Health has a new CEO. Karen Lynch has been replaced with longtime pharmacy benefits executive David Joyner. He will take the helm as shares have fallen nearly 20% this year. Joyner will have to navigate the company through the rising costs of its health insurance business, slumping drugstore sales, as well as growing investor pressure. Higher medical costs have weighed heavily on its insurance unit, Aetna, and because of elevated medical costs. CVS also warned investors that they should not rely on guidance provided for the second quarter. Now, one of Amazon's top executives is defending the online retailer's recent mandate for employees to return to office 5 days a week. Amazon Web Services CEO Matt Garman said if someone didn't want to comply, there are other companies around. The policy has upset many employees who say it wastes time with additional commuting and the benefits of working from the office are not supported by independent data. Mortgage rates on the rise again after a short reprieve. Yesterday, Freddie Mac said this week's average rate on a standard 30-year mortgage was 6.44%. Mortgage rates are still more than 1 percentage point lower compared to a year ago, but the rates have been increasing for 3 weeks in a row and are now well above the 2-year low seen last month. Economists said higher rates reflect strength in the economy, though. And gold is taking the gold in the precious metals category. Prices have reached a new record high. They're expected to keep climbing over economic uncertainty as investors seek out the safe haven asset. That's because the U.S. presidential election is just weeks away. If former President Trump wins, that would mean potential tariff hikes, plus policies from both candidates will rise U.S. debt. This is on top of the tensions in the Middle East, where Israel says it has killed Hamas's leader. Gold prices have also gotten support from the Fed's rate cuts. The precious metal has ascended the past week and surpassed a prior record set last month, right around $2,700. Now let's talk about China here. The central bank is working to pump more than $100 billion into China's stock market through new monetary policy tools. A month after announcing 2 new funding initiatives, the People's Bank of China launched them today. Under one plan, brokerages, asset managers, and insurers can obtain liquidity from the central bank using their assets as collateral to buy stocks. Another plan allows assets, including bonds and stock ETFs, to be exchanged for highly liquid assets like treasury bonds, for example, to give participants easier access to funding. The bank's announcement came at the same time that new data showed China's economic slowdown deepened during the third quarter. And it looks like Netflix continues its commanding lead in the streaming service market. The media giant beat expectations in revenue, subscriber growth, and its fourth quarter forecast. It recorded a nearly $3 billion operating profit, a record high quarterly margin. Netflix currently offers the cheapest ad-supported plan at $6.99 a month, and based on its earnings call with CEO Greg Peters, right now a major price hike doesn't appear to be in the works. Wall Street projects Netflix will reach 24 million net new paid subscribers next year. Meanwhile, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration is investigating the safety of Tesla's full self-driving feature. Here's that story.
The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration said Friday it would research 2.4 million vehicles fitted with the technology. It comes after 4 reports of crashes where full self-driving, or FSD, was engaged during reduced roadway visibility. Those conditions include sun glare, fog, or airborne dust. The regulator said in one crash the Tesla vehicle fatally struck a pedestrian. Tesla says on its website its FSD software in on-road vehicles requires active driver supervision. It further said it doesn't make vehicles autonomous. The probe covers a number of models, including 2023-24 Cybertruck vehicles. The preliminary evaluation is the first step before the agency could seek to demand a recall of the vehicles. It would take such a step if it believes they pose an unreasonable risk to safety. Tesla CEO Elon Musk aims to shift Tesla's focus to self-driving technology and robo-taxis.
The South American lithium triangle is predicted to draw in billions of dollars from investing countries in the next 5 years. That's due to Bolivia, Chile, and Argentina holding almost 2/3 of the global lithium reserves. NTD Shar Marshall has more information.
The South American Lithium Triangle is made up of Argentina, Bolivia, and Chile. They hold nearly 2/3 of the world's lithium reserves and could surpass Australia and China as the world's top producer of what some call the new white gold. According to an article by CME Group, the triangle is forecast to attract over $30 billion in 5 years from Chinese, North American, and Australian investors. Looking ahead in each country, the CME report states $10 billion to $20 billion is expected to pour into Argentina by 2029. That's the world's second largest estimated lithium reserves holder. At least 6 plants are currently under construction. In Chile, Chinese carmaker BYD plans to build a $290 million battery materials plant. And Texas-based EnergyX plans to build a production plant with its proprietary direct lithium extraction technology. Bolivia holds the world's largest lithium reserves. The country is set to bring in billions of dollars in the coming years. But production timelines have been delayed due to feasibility studies, making battery production increasingly difficult. CME Group said a key component of small device batteries used in phones, cars, and more, lithium demand is growing and creating an increased need to manage a fluctuating price risk. The financial group went on to state that as a result, market participants are turning to their lithium futures market in record numbers. And in just the first half of 2024, trading in their lithium hydroxide futures contract has already surpassed a full year 2023 totals. Sean Marshall, NTD News.
Now, as the artificial intelligence race picks up speed, nuclear power is keeping up with the energy demands. Some of the biggest names in tech, like Microsoft, Google, and Amazon, have recently penned deals with nuclear power plant operators and developers. That's due to the large amount of energy needed to power AI. Now, in the past, tech companies have gravitated toward wind, solar, but nuclear energy has become a more appealing alternative. That's because wind and solar doesn't produce greenhouse gas emissions and is more reliable around the clock. General electricity use has gone up significantly in recent years, and the tech industry's data centers are adding to the strain. Donations to Harvard University have dropped substantially after accusations of anti-Semitism on campus. Harvard's president calls the decline disappointing. Here's more on that.
Donations to Harvard University are down 15% for fiscal year 2024, from $1.38 billion last year to $1.17 billion this year, and gifts to Harvard's endowment fell by 34%. Harvard President Alan Garber calls the drop disappointing. He says there are, quote, some indications that we will see improvements in the future, but added he can't get more specific than that right now. Harvard's endowment grew in value by 9.6%, but this was far worse than the stock market. The S&P 500 grew by 22.7% in the same period. Harvard and other schools have been embroiled in pro-Palestinian controversies after the October 7th massacre. Some students openly showed support for the Hamas terrorist group, and reports of anti-Semitism were widespread. In Harvard's financial report, President Garber pointed out that Harvard has task forces to combat anti-Semitic as well as anti-Muslim bias. This comes after many prominent donors stopped contributing. This includes billionaire Ken Griffin, who called Harvard students whiny snowflakes. Israel billionaire Eden Ofer, who said he was troubled that Harvard's leadership wouldn't call Hamas a terrorist organization. Victoria's Secret billionaire Leslie Wexner, who said he was stunned and sickened by the university's response. And Bill Ackman, who said the only hope for change at Harvard is a financial crisis. Donations are vital to keep schools in operation. In 2023, donations made up nearly half of Harvard's revenue.
So if you're already dreading the Thanksgiving feast preparations, Butterball has at least one step in the process you can cut out. Butterball has unveiled a new cook from frozen turkey that you don't have to thaw. The country's largest turkey producer says cooking the turkey is only 2 steps: unwrapping it and popping it into the oven. It also doesn't need basting, brining, or even seasoning. Butterball says it made a specially formulated brine that keeps the meat moist during the roughly 5-hour-long roasting process. It says not to stuff the turkey though, since that would pose a food safety risk. Instead, it says you should make the stuffing separately. The new turkey is being sold at grocery chains including Harris Teeter, Publix, and select locations of Walmart and Kroger. Japanese toy maker Mega House is rolling out a Rubik's Cube so small you'll need tweezers to play it. If you're interested in buying one though, be prepared to pay big, $5,000 to be exact. Take a look.
This is what it takes to solve the world's smallest Rubik's Cube. You'll need a lot of patience and a pair of tweezers.
It's about the size of a few grains of rice, with each side measuring just 5 millimeters. But yes, it actually works.
It's made with such delicate parts that if you shake it roughly like you would with a normal Rubik's Cube, there's a possibility that parts might come off.
The world's smallest Rubik's Cube was designed by Japanese toy maker Mega House. Made of aluminum, it's about 1,000 times smaller than the classic version.
I wanted to show the world the beauty of Japanese miniatures, the technology that is packed into these small things. But assembling them is the trickiest part because it has to be rotatable. If you make it too tight with no gaps, it won't move. So you need a minimum amount of space.
You need a lot of concentration to do this. Okay, then good eyes.
At over $5,000, this tiny cube is more of a collector's item, with deliveries rolling out from April.
All the stories I have for you guys on Business Matters. Back to you, Fiona.
Don, great show as always. That Rubik's Cube, crazy.
I know. So I don't know if you've seen those competitions where like they compete on solving the Rubik's Cube as fast as they can. I mean, I think I've seen people do it in like 3 seconds or something. You know what would make that like way more interesting? If we use that like tiny little Rubik's Cube.
For those competitions?
I would like to see that.
Yeah, I mean, I have seen those exact competitions. They also blindfold themselves and then solve in like 7 seconds. It's insane. I would love to see them blindfolded and try to figure that tiny one out.
Yeah.
$5,000 too, that's insane.
That is extremely expensive.
Well, Don, thank you as always. Great show. I'll see you next week.
Yep, see you.